Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining today. Sorry I'm a couple minutes late. I think I was in a different meeting Zoom as we do now. So thanks so much for bearing with me there. Such a pleasure to do this session with y'all. I've done a couple of these now, and it's by far my favorite session to host here at Memory Fox because we get into all the fine details of what makes up a Memory Fox campaign, how to launch it, why we launch it, what we do with it, all the really fun stuff that we do here at Memory Fox and we talk about here all the time. So it's such a pleasure to host these sessions with you guys. So thank you to everybody who's joining us live today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and get started right away. But we're going to drop some things in the chat. I think Marcy is here with me today. But what's really great about this session is that it's a working session. So hopefully you don't walk away with homework. You walk away with having really thought through how to build a story collection campaign and how to launch, where to launch, all the really important fine details that go into running campaigns and collecting stories from your community. So I will have Marcy throw in the chat, if you can, the campaign workbook that we're going to work from today. And the cool thing about the workbook is that it's just a space for you to dump ideas. So if you can click on the link that is in the chat, it's just a simple workbook format where you can make notes in there. And what we'll do is we'll have you submit that campaign at the end, and then we'll send you all of your campaign details so you're able to review everything later. So feel free to use that workbook if you'd like. It's a great guide that you can look at as we go along the way. So thank you so much again for joining me today. I would love to know who's here. So if you wouldn't mind just throwing your organization, your name, organization in the chat, where you're located. The reason why I ask those things is because if I am able to live, I will give suggestions based on your organization and your mission. So if we have any brave volunteers that want to throw their organization name in the chat or the campaign that they're looking to build today with us together, I'm happy to give live feedback and suggestions on what you might put in your campaign workbook. So I'm going to bring up the campaign workbook here in my screen just so you can see it, and hopefully you guys can see this as you go. But this is what you should be seeing in the campaign workbook. So this is what we will be going through along the way. So again, give that link a click there. And awesome, from Boston, 25 years next year. Amazing, Katie. Thanks for joining us. Anniversary campaigns are such a wonderful time to reflect and get your community to think about all the incredible work that you've done over the years. So I love an anniversary campaign. That is a really, really common one here at Memory Fox. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you get some really good ideas for that. So this is the workbook. So you'll throw your name in here at the top, your organization. And in this first step here, we'll just throw a campaign name in here. So for Katie, that would probably be the 25th anniversary campaign, but really it's just whatever you want to name it. And again, this is just designed to be a little bit of a notebook, right? A space for you to throw ideas in. So it definitely doesn't have to be perfect here. But I'm going to be switching back and forth between that workbook and my presentation just to give you guys some definitions and some further explanation along the way. So I'll be flipping back and forth from that today. But today is not really a demo of Memory Fox. So if you haven't had the opportunity to watch my community demo, every other week I do a community demo where I do a deeper dive into the Memory Fox platform and talk more about our subscription levels and what's included and all that fun stuff. But today is a building workshop. So if you haven't had the opportunity to attend one of my sessions or watch the recording, we'll include that for you in the follow-up email so you can do that today as well. But just as a little bit of a high-level touch base, I do think it's good to ground ourselves in what we're really doing here today. We'll give you the quick demo of Memory Fox, and hopefully you'll have some time to watch that later. But from high level here at Memory Fox, so what we're doing here today is we'll be working on this side of the journey here. So we'll be talking through the story collection journey at Memory Fox and all of our tips and tricks that we suggest to how to get engagement, how to build campaigns, and what you're seeing today and what we're talking through today gives you a little bit of a glimpse into our Campfire membership and what's included in your customer success journey, that when you sign up for Memory Fox, you get a hands-on support along the way. So you get a little glimpse into what that's like today. But this screen here does give you a snapshot of how Memory Fox works, generally speaking. So all of our subscriptions here at Memory Fox are annual, so we work with nonprofits only here to help them collect, organize, and share community stories in the form of pictures, videos, and written testimonials. And we do that so that we can help you steward your donors, right? So what we learned here at Memory Fox is the very best way to show donors and your community why they should support your organization is to create a funnel, an engine of pictures and videos generated from your community so that you can show donors why they should continue to give, what their donation does, if you're looking for a grant application content, if you're looking for social media content. We need a way to give people space to share, right? And so that's what we're going to be talking about today is the storyteller side of the journey. At Memory Fox, we make the storyteller side of the journey really, really simple. So our story collection campaigns are designed really easily on the back end of Memory Fox, and we're going to walk through that today. But essentially, whatever you're building today, whether you use Memory Fox or not, honestly, we'll give you some great tools and tips and tricks on how to collect stories from your community. So I hope you learned something today on how to engage your community to share pictures, videos, testimonials that represent your mission. But within Memory Fox subscriptions, you're able to create multiple campaigns. And that's because, today we're creating one campaign, but really we want to be collecting stories all year long to help really fuel this engine, right? So you're able to create story collection campaigns within Memory Fox where there's no download required, no password, just a simple QR code or a link that they click on that takes them to a secure page that's designed to be an extension of your website, your branding. So they simply click on the link, it takes them right to a secure page where you're guiding folks on what it is you're asking for. While you're asking for it, we're collecting consent, providing storyteller prompts, and again, giving users the ability to do a video testimonial, a photo with the caption, a written testimonial, or we're going to upload previously taken photos or videos. So the storyteller side of the journey, super simple, super clear. What's nice for you is that everything gets tagged and organized automatically into your story bank, so you don't have to spend additional time organizing your content. I don't know about you, but it's so hard for me to find a picture or video when I'm looking for it after an event. This essentially organizes everything for you, our variation of folders and files. So it just tags and organizes it for you by the name of the campaign, the question, the user, the upload type. So we provide a content management system, a space for you to keep all of your community generated stories tagged and organized in one place privately. So you guys own all of this content. Super important to us from a privacy standpoint. Everything is stored and organized privately here. And then from a sharing perspective, we have a couple easy ways for you to share authentically with your donors. My favorite way is our Canva integration because they have so many wonderful templates that allow you to share that publicly. You can share with Memory Fox directly into Memory Fox into your Canva account. We got an app in the App Store. You can download that original content anytime. And we have some really cool story pages, but we'll do a deeper dive in another session, a little bit more about Memory Fox, but hopefully that gives you a nice little overview of what Memory Fox is. So let's get started in the campaign process. So like I said, if you've had the opportunity to click on that link and build a campaign together today, I highly recommend it so that we can really get into the fine details of what you want to collect stories around. So what we'll be talking about today, if you see in this top right hand corner, it's the storyteller side of the journey. It's the collection tool. So if you scan this QR code, if you want to take a look at an example campaign, feel free to scan that QR code and take a look at a live campaign. That isn't a campaign that I go through quite often in my community demos, but it's a campaign that one of our customers made for program story collection. So if you do want to see a little bit more about that, you can take a look at that there. Otherwise, let's stay focused on the campaign workshop and let's think about your campaign. So what is a Memory Fox campaign? So a Memory Fox campaign is just a structured invitation to your community. So a focused ask that guides people to share their stories in a meaningful way. So every campaign you build, what we recommend is we want to have a clear goal. So a named audience. Who are we going to be collecting stories from? Why are we collecting stories? What are we going to do with them, right? So have a clear goal and a named audience. We're going to use tailored prompts along the way to collect real stories. We're going to gather data so you have all the information about your storytellers. And then we're going to generate content that you can use immediately. So the whole purpose of all of this is not just to have that bank of stories sitting on the bench. We want to send it out into the playing field. We want to share this with donors. We want to give them fresh content that they can see all year long of what your community is saying about your organization. So I'm going to actually, because Katie was so brave to say that they're celebrating their 25th anniversary next year, we're going to talk about the 25th anniversary campaign suggestion along the way. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to do a quick lookup of what Word Powered is. So looks like we've got some writing nonprofit. Amazing. So it looks like we've got some programs here. Awesome. We work alongside teachers, literacy coaches, principals, district leaders, youth development professionals. Oh my gosh, she has so many types of storytellers that we could be collecting stories from for her 25th anniversary. So this is exciting. Thank you for sharing that one. So let's define our goals to get started here. So before anything else, like we said, let's get crystal clear on what success looks like. So I'm going to pull up that campaign building workshop here. So here we should be at the foundations area. So who are you asking from? So Katie, in this example, we're talking about a 25th anniversary, right? So that can mean so many different types of people because we're celebrating an organization that's existed for 25 years. So for them, we have trainers, we've got coaches, we've got educators, we've got summer programs. So we've got alumni, we've got people that participated in the programs previously, we've got teachers, current and past, we've got coaches, we've got principals, district leaders. So it looks like we've got so many types of people that we could be reaching. And we want to get a diverse perspective for the 25th anniversary, right? We want to have a campaign that's going to get the perspective of so many different types of people that have been a part of this. So there's no wrong answers here. Let's put everyone in that you think could possibly engage in your campaign. What feeling or theme should these stories surface? So impact, gratitude, community, connection, transformation. What do we want people to think about when we're asking them to engage in these campaigns? So a lot of times with anniversaries, we want to make a space for them to reflect and show gratitude for the organization for all the years of progress and all the people that you've helped over 25 years. So gratitude might be something that you want people to feel as they're doing that. So what feeling or theme, if you're thinking about your storytellers in that moment, telling that story, what do we want them to feel when we're invoking that? Because that will really help serve our call to action story. So let's throw in that, any ideas we have there. Where will you use these stories? So again, just thinking backwards here. So where are we going to share these stories? What is the purpose of collecting these stories? Are we going to share it back with the community? Katie might be having a 25th anniversary party. So let's get some pictures and videos that we're going to share that night at the gala, at the luncheon, whatever we're having, the party. We want pictures everywhere that represent the 25 years. We want there to be a video that night that has maybe a really quick video compilation that we're going to pull little clips from all the submissions. That's all the different communities, which you can make so easily in Canva, right? So are we sharing on social media? Are you applying for a grant? So let's work backwards from there. So throw in there where you're going to use these stories. And also can be more than one place, right? So anniversary stories, maybe you're doing it just for the gala, but guess what? That fuels your social media funnel all year long. And if you're selling tickets to an event, I love the idea of posting on social media and posting in your newsletter what people are excited about and sharing those 25th anniversary stories alongside throughout the year, so that leading up to that event, if you're asking for donations, we're showing the 25 anniversary stories, not just at the 25th anniversary. We start collecting now so that you have stories all year long talking about that. So really important to start collecting early. So what do you want people to do because of them? To donate, to volunteer, to attend. So if we're telling those stories, if someone hears that story, if they see that video, what do we want them to do? Do we want them to give to the organization? Are you hoping they volunteer? Like I said, are we hoping them to attend an event? Are we doing a party? Like, what do we want? What do we want? And again, that can be multiple things. So go ahead and throw in there any ideas, anything you're thinking about there. So that's our goals there. So hopefully that gives us a good framework as we continue. So intro your campaign. So I know we already threw in like a general name for the campaign, but let's intro our campaign. So name the campaign Volunteer Stories. Again, for this example, we've got 25th anniversary. So I've seen like 25 stories for 25 years. I think you can collect way more than 25 stories though, but maybe if it's volunteers, why I give. So let's just name our campaign, and we're going to write a 3-sentence description. And so what this is doing is we're setting the table here for what we're asking for. So if someone's seeing this campaign, I like to think of it into a three sentence formula, or 3 opening formula. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll thank them. So again, in this example, thank you so much for taking a moment to share and being a part of Word Powered for so many years and being a part of this mission. We're so grateful what it is. So here we're collecting stories for our 25th anniversary, and we're so excited to share them with everybody that it is contributing and why it matters. So connecting this story to real impact. So a lot of times too, we want to tell people why we're asking them to take a second to share their story. So by sharing your story, we'll be able to show donors why we should continue to fund these programs. So simple, right? So something really simple gives them that little bit of background of what it means to take a few minutes to share. And again, where we are in our workbook here, we should be here. So we should be naming the campaign and then just throwing in any ideas for that intro. No wrong answers at this point. Okay, next we've got our collect simple user data. This one's pretty straightforward. We just want to know who we're collecting from. So at MemoryFox, we don't have we don't have a login process for users. It's really simple. They just click on a link, they read what, the intro is, they throw in their information, collect consent, answer a prompt, right? So we make that really simple, but we do want to collect user data. So just get a name, email, maybe a relationship, and maybe for someone that is collecting from alumni, maybe you want to be collecting user data. So where they live now, what job they have now. So use this as an opportunity to find out what people are up to. But at the very minimum, we're going to want to find out who the submitter is in case we need to reach back out for any reason. And to start building our newsletter list too, right? So if we're collecting data there. So go ahead and throw that in here. We got some check boxes for you for some common ones, but you can always add something in here if you don't see it. Okay, consent form, pretty straightforward as well. We are very, very, we focus a lot on ethical storytelling here at MemoryFox, because one of the things that's really important is that if we are asking people to take a second to share their story, we need to be super upfront with them about where it's going to live, what you're doing with it, how long it might live somewhere for. So a lot of times this is legal jargon, and from a legal perspective, you do need to collect consent to use it in different spaces. However, be upfront with people. Tell them where they're gonna where you're gonna share it, how long it might live somewhere for, how they can contact you if they change their mind. So just throw that all in here. And again, this can be changed later. So sharing prompts. So this is the meat and potatoes of this presentation. So this is the space where we're coming up with all of the storyteller ideas and how we're going to engage stories. So this part's really important because it matters how you ask someone. So I have a suggestion here where we have a weak prompt and a strong prompt. A weak prompt, one question that you would ask someone is like, tell us about your experience, right? So that's really vague. So like, tell us about, your experience with our organization over 25 years. That is a very vague question, which may get to you some response, but I will say people tend to get a little overwhelmed. So a strong prompt would be, describe a moment when our program changed something for you. So it's specific, it's emotional, it focuses on impact, right? So get a little bit specific on what you're asking with people, because it allows people to think a little bit more detail of what you're asking. One of the questions I love for anniversaries is, because of word powered, I now can, right? I'll finish the sentence, right? Something that's like gets them to really think of really specifically how they can share, and then give people options. I do suggest no more than 3 because again, we get a little bit overwhelmed, but again, we're just giving people options. One question could be something specific to their relationship with your organization. Another question could be, what would you tell someone else that's considering joining this program, or that's it's just more advice focused and takes the attention off themselves. And then another prompt I love is a thank you message, just a very, very quick thank you so much, like happy anniversary to the organization, right? Just a thank you for the program, to the donors, whatever that is, just a very quick thank you prompt. And again, that should only take them a couple seconds, but we love all these options, right? So all of them have a really great place from a sharing perspective. So just bouncing back here, we'll name the prompt, why I give, or, tell me about your experience, or the thank you message, and then give them a little description, right? So a little further explanation, and then accepted content types. So we've got photo, video, text testimonial, file, upload. So really just kind of depends on what you want to collect there. And if you want to add a prompt, you can add it here. So just go ahead and throw in all your ideas for prompts right now. I would say there's really no limit in this workbook, because then you can always narrow down, and we could spend some time talking about that one-on-one, what prompts make the most sense for your community. This last space here is just a redirect link. So in Memory Fox campaigns, we do have a campaign redirect at the end. So if you want to throw your donation page, if you're selling tickets to your event, Katie, you can throw in your URL to the campaign, to the event to buy tickets, or whatever you want to do. You can kind of close the loop on that journey, because these Memory Fox campaigns, kind of similar to a Google form, but a little bit more intuitive than that with the way that's everything shaped. It's just designed to be an extension of your branding, and of your website, how you can click out and then send them right back, right? So just drop that in there. All right, so now we have our campaign. We have all of the things that we need to put in the campaign, but now we're going to talk about how we're going to share the campaign. So where are you going to put that link and QR code? So now we have our campaign link ready to go. And with Memory Fox campaigns, we have a link and a QR code that folks can scan. No download, no password. So we want to think about where we're going to share this so that we get engagement. And some of the things to think about are, where does your community already exist? So we've got newsletters, we've got, maybe you've got an in-person session, we have teachers and people that are running those sessions that can mention the campaign. Do we have social media? We have a website. We have all these different spaces depending on your community. And one of the cool things about working with Memory Fox, our Campfire subscription does have a success manager who will help you come up with an engagement plan. But definitely easy to just think about where your community already exists, how you will ask, whether it be in social media, in person, but definitely put it in more places than one. You're going to want to put that in multiple touch points so that people keep running into it. Definitely want to ask at least 3 times and figure out all those different spaces that you can include that link. So throw that in here. Any different spaces, places, if you got a text group, a text list that you can SMS people, great. Lots of different ways to share that out. But I always recommend, if possible, having a champion, having somebody that knows about this campaign, is passionate about it, and will be sharing that with the community. And then lastly here, if you want to throw in anything else, any other notes about Memory Fox, about questions about Memory Fox, you can do that here. But throw in any other things or you'd like us to know. But that really wraps up our campaign building process. So from here, you should be able to, at the bottom, submit my campaign. And one of the cool things that we're doing here is when you submit your campaign, you'll get a copy of it. So you'll get that back. And so you'll have an outline of exactly what you're wanting to do with your Memory Fox campaign. But one of the discounts that we're running right now is that we're doing free strategy sessions. So if you book by the end of July, or by July 15th, I think it is right now, you'll get a free strategy session where you'll be able to go over your campaign with me. So I'll give you campaign feedback one-on-one. We will be able to go through the plan for your campaign as a part of your Memory Fox subscription. Excuse me. So please submit your campaign. We'll send you that copy. And if you decide you'd like to use Memory Fox, we'll include that for free for you. So we would love to kick off your account and with that session to go over that plan for your first campaign and anything else you want to talk about, really. I'll jump back to a couple examples for you all as we conclude here shortly. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the subscriptions and how to get started and what's included. But before I do, I just want to touch on a couple different sample campaign ideas. So we've got a lot of different campaign types. So maybe you did one today that was for your 25th anniversary, but one of the cool things about Memory Fox subscriptions is that you can create story collection campaigns in all the areas there are to tell stories. So whether we're doing impact storytelling, volunteer stories, stories of gratitude, or board stories, right? There are just so many different options for story collection here at Memory Fox. We recommend making space for your community to share stories in all those different ways. So I'm going to have Marcy drop in the chat here our pricing page. So one of the things I just want to touch on for you all really quick here is just our next step. So complete the workbook. Go ahead and submit that for your copy to be sent to you. And then so you'll receive that back over email. And then so if you'd like to use Memory Fox to run your campaign, one of the nice things about Memory Fox attendees to this workshop is that we are offering that free strategy session. So these are our two different subscription tiers at Memory Fox. We've got Essentials and Campfire. So if you click on any of these, at the bottom you'll see watch a quick demo if you'd like to watch my demo a little bit more. But this option gives you the ability to do just a couple campaigns to get started with a certain amount of storage and admin seats, and then you can add things on that you need. So if you want to start with just the essentials and just a campaign to get going, it's a great place to start. And like I said, we are including a free strategy session for those folks that do submit their campaign, and we'll hit the ground running with your Memory Fox account. And then our Campfire subscription, I encourage you to do a little bit of a deeper dive into this button here on our website, but that is our full customer success track. So if you want someone by your side in the story collection journey, our software makes it so simple for your community to submit stories, organizes so easily and shares. However, we know there's so many nuances in this community. We've been doing this for a long time. We've worked with so many different types of nonprofits to help them collect really meaningful stories. So we want to help you. So you get a storytelling consultant to help you along the way. So for just over $5,000, you do get a person that's going to support you in your story collection journey. So if you want to meet and talk more about that, if you click on this Learn More button, there's a Request a Demo button. Let's talk about it. So let's get on a demo. Let's talk about Campfire. Let's talk about your organization, your goals, and see if it's a good fit. But thank you all so much for joining me today. It was such a pleasure. Before I forget, the most importantly, 10% off June. So I know it's short turnaround time, but we do have a discount code for 10% off through June. So if you are able and have the means to get started and you're eager to get that campaign up and running, in my follow-up email, I am going to include the discount code. So be on the lookout for the follow-up email. for 10% off either subscription tier. And again, we are also including that strategy session for you. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, I always welcome you to reach out. You'll get an email directly from me, so feel free to hit that reply button. If you want to spend time one-on-one, we can do that as well. I hope to see some of you in an upcoming strategy session. Thank you so much for taking the time to build a story collection campaign today. I know nonprofit folks wear so many different types of hats, and you are all doing so much. So thank you for all you do for your community and for taking time to do a story collection campaign here with me today. And actually, before I go, I'll see, are there any questions? Does anybody, did anything come up? I was trying to keep an eye on this, as I was going here, but I don't think I saw any. So if there are not any questions, I will let you all go. Thanks again for joining us today. Yes, thank you, Katie. I hope you have a wonderful 25th anniversary. But you'll get the recording from me and my information. So thanks again. Have a wonderful day and keep telling great stories.